Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mornings with Marie, seventh episode, summer season finale. Good morning to everybody. I'm so super excited this morning. We already know that this show is full already, so we're going to move right along. I see some of you that are on. Michelle, good morning. My mother's on. Janisha, Ladanya, Jessica, Joseph, Sonia. Listen, Ebony, you guys got to share this live. We are live this morning and ready to discuss the pause. And I'm super excited. You guys have um, rolled this thing out with me for the past 7 episodes. All summer long, we've been together. I thank God for the God given idea that was given to me. And I pray that you all were blessed by this show this entire summer. I'm super excited, and let's just go right into it. I don't want to waste any more time. This is, like I said, our 7th episode. We have been airing since June 6th was our first show, and now August 24th is our summer season finale. And listen, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mornings with Marie. Don't forget to also like and follow our Mornings with Marie Facebook page. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we are on Instagram. We are on. So we need all of you to please just tune in and join us on any digital platform that I just mentioned. 7th episode. Why, Lenore, would you stop at 7? 7 is the number of perfection and completeness. And I just felt it necessary to stop here. And not that we're going to end the show forever, but we are definitely going to be coming back, and we'll do a seasonal. So the fall season will begin in a couple of weeks. School is starting, and lots of things are happening. We're kind of getting back into what some would call a little normal. But we are just going to take a quick pause. And I'll keep saying it. I don't want you guys to neglect the comment section. The comment section is very important for this show. We want to answer any of your questions that you may have, anything that you may want to say to the other guests that are going to be on the show a little bit later. 7th episode, you guys have bought t-shirts. Thank you so much to all of you that have bought t-shirts. Mornings with Marie t-shirts are still and yet available. They are $25. You see me rocking the purple today. We need you guys' support. If you can and when you can. The flyer should be on the screen as of right now. They're $25, and I am so super grateful for all of you that went and supported me in reference to the t-shirts. It has been phenomenal. Some of the people that have supported me, like Monet and Alonda Hassel, like a lot of my friends, I'm super, super excited and so, so grateful for all of you. Not only do we have the t-shirts, but we still have our Mornings with Marie life journals. The life journals are available as well, and they are $20. You can purchase them now. And all you have to do is send me a message. You can pay via PayPal, or you can pay via Cash App. The information should be on the screen as well. God has blessed me so, and you guys remember from the very first episode that I talked about having your love chat with God. And not only that, after your love chat and you go about your day or about your week or even about your year, you want to make sure that you write the vision and make it plain. so that you may go and do what God has told you to do. And you don't want to forget it. You want to write down your dreams and your visions. You want to have that life journal. It is very, very important. As you see on the screen, the Mornings with Marie Cash App handle and the Mornings with Marie PayPal. Listen, you some of you have donated and we're super super grateful for that because it does take money to do things. So we're so thankful for those of you that did have donated, and if you haven't donated, that's fine. And we pray that you all will be blessed. This is not the platform for that. We're not just asking for your funds just to make our lives better or greater. We're doing it because God has given us the idea, and we pray that you all have been blessed. Young people have inboxed me and let me know that they've been inspired by our insecurities episode. We had the anxiety episode. It has just been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you, all of you that have donated and that will donate in the future. We definitely appreciate it. Listen, let's move right along. I know I may be talking a little bit fast, but I'm so excited and I want to get on with my guests. We have had all summer long our Mornings with Marie BOB spotlights. What is BOB? BOB is our Black owned business spotlights. So I want to thank all of the participants, all those that have businesses that were able to be featured this summer. I'm so grateful, and I just want to say thank you to those people really, really quickly. To my good friend, we're going to start with Carla Cerrone. She has the hair room. She's a phenomenal hairstylist. Jennifer, JJ, the Gem Boutique, and all of these Black-owned businesses that I'm just mentioning today, they're on our previous episodes. So when you go back, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you like and follow Mornings with Marie's page, you'll be able to see all of the information there. So Carla Cerrone, Jennifer, JJ, the Gem Boutique, Chef Sherelle Griggs, thank you so much. She has Shara's Kitchen, and Felicia Highsmith with High Glam Cosmetics. And we could not stop there. We did not stop there. Some of you all, after I mentioned those, you all came back and was saying, oh, I got more businesses that I want you to make mention of, and we're grateful. We followed up with Brittany C. Daniels with Be Styled. And then we had Andrew Roberts, my great friend, Andrew Roberts Design. He also has the Crown Made hair products, and he's a barber. So you guys go and support him. Also, I had my sister Monet Swan with Swan Doll Beauty. And then we closed it out with Pastor Jason Hendrickson, All Things Apparels. So I'm super, super grateful for all of the BOB spotlights. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to advertise your business on this platform. And I pray that you all will bless and someone came to your business, a new customer came to your business because of this platform. Let's keep it moving. Marie's Music Moment. We're here and we're getting ready to open up into this pause conversation. But Marie's Music Moment, we've had so many music moments in the past 7 weeks. But this one is very special to my heart and near and dear to my heart. I sing with this choir, and I love this choir. Lindsay Williams and Divine Connection. God has been so grateful. I have been in it since the beginning, and it's been absolutely amazing and outstanding. Um, the song is I Belong to You. And I remember, just a quick story. I remember going into the into I Belong to You. And what's funny about I Belong to You is I was actually I fell down the stairs, y'all. And I really hurt myself. And sprained both of my ankles. And so when we came back into the studio and had to go into the studio to do it, I actually was on crutches. So I Belong to You is near and dear to my heart. And I'm so grateful. I thank God for Elder Lindsay Williams and Divine Connection. And I pray that you all are blessed by I Belong to You on all digital platforms. You can download it, listen to it. I love that choir. And if you guys follow me or follow my page, you always will always see videos of Divine Connection and us singing. Listen, we are here. We are ready. The pause. Where did it come from? How, when was it first discussed? Um, what does it even mean? What does the pause even mean? And this morning, our guests are it's so important that I had these two gentlemen, especially the first guest that I'm going to mention. And his name is Stanley Brown, and you'll see why in the next video, why he's so important to this conversation. And not only him, Lindsay Williams is going to be on with us, and they're going to give us some insight in reference to the pause. So this is what's going to happen, you all. You're going to see a video right now, and the video is courtesy of Zion Cathedral, where the pastor is Bishop Frank Anthon White. They had a discussion with some really, really important music industry execs and singers and songwriters and choir directors, like the people who have choirs, and they came on together, sat on a platform, and just discussed in reference to where everything is going now due to COVID, in reference to music and to ministry and just life in general, church in general. So you're going to see this. Bear with us if we're delayed or if you see any freezing on your screen. Just bear with us. Don't forget to like and share this video, because we're getting ready to go into this candid conversation. And so now you're going to see the video, and then after that you'll be on live with my guests, Stanley Brown and Lindsay Williams. So tune in now, and don't forget, like I said, make sure you share this live. Make sure you like and you share. Thanks, guys. Watch the video.
We all long for it. When you hear it, it just makes such an impression upon your heart. And now here we are with empty churches. What is, Stanley, what is the future of the choir? Is church choirs, are they in the grave? Is there going to be a resurrection? What's the future here?
I think what we have to learn to be okay with is the pause. Right? It doesn't mean there won't be a continuation. But we are in the season of the pause. Just put it on mute for right now.
Preach, brother.
Stay
preach.
safe for a minute.
Preach, bro.
And then we will continue. But we don't know how to be okay with the pause and during this time, restoring family time, things that we needed to do personally with family and loved ones, educating ourselves in other manners, in other industries or whatever. We will get back to it. But I'm seeing that people are not okay with the wait, with the pause. And right now, you can't. It's just not safe to do that. And we want to get back to what is formality, what we're used to, and what made us feel good, and the emotional side of it. But sometimes we're just not thinking and just saying, right now, it's just not the time. It's not over, and we will get back to it. But right now, we need to figure out other ways to support ministry, being supportive of one another, checking on each other, because people are dealing with anxiety and all kind of things and issues. But I just think right now we're in a pause phase. We just have to wait it out a little bit.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Elder Lindsay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I know we can't see you, Lindsay, but we can definitely hear you. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being on with me this morning. I'm super, super excited about the both of you being on. What they just watched or just viewed is the video of you, Stanley Brown at Zion Cathedral. I do just want to uh, introduce the both of you really, really briefly and really, really quickly. Um, Stanley Brown's his achievements and the list of achievements are it's just amazing. And for those of you that don't know him, all you have to do is Google the name and you will be enlightened. I mean, really, really enlightened by who he is. I'm so grateful he is the musical director of Allen Cathedral. Thank you so much, Stanley. Is there anything that you want to add or say this morning in reference to you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think you pretty much covered it all.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Lindsay Williams, I have been at SJBC for over 10 years now, and have we ministered together and we work together effectively. His father is the pastor, Dr. J.D. Williams of SJBC, and he also is he's been in the music. He's been doing music for how long have you been doing music for now?
About 30. No, I started playing the drums for my dad's church when I was 5. So I don't know. Over
Wow.
35 years.
Over 35 years. And I sing, like I said earlier, I sing with his choir, Divine Connection, and I'm so super grateful for him. He is an elder in the Lord's church, and I'm just grateful for the both of you. Thank you so much. Now, we watched the video, Stanley Brown, about you just mentioning the pause with your conversation with Bishop Frank Anthony White and others. And I just want you to kind of give some insight on where did that even come from? Like, that is the most phenomenal thing that I've ever heard, especially since COVID. Where did that come from?
Well, one, I'm just going to just give you some music facts and some
Yeah.
music knowledge. Back in the days, I don't know if it was the late '80s, early '90s. I did a song. I was in the music video with one of the most legendary, iconic rap groups in the history of hip hop, which is Run DMC.
Mm.
And we did a song, and I actually wrote music for a song that they recorded called Pause. And people can go back and watch that video and watch it to the end, and I'm sure you'll laugh and it'll make you smile. But uh, they just talked about things, meaning the pause, a temporary action during times of uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
right? A temporary action during times of uncertainty. It doesn't mean that it's forever. It doesn't mean that this is what it will be in the long term. But for now,
Mm.
the situation, the conversation came about, and the topic was about choirs and when we will get back to choirs and large gatherings. And I believe we will, and we will get to that. But right now, until science and to the medical professionals and to the government has figured all of this out, and we are living in uncertain times. We don't really know how to define it. We don't know what it is, or it's so many stories. If you watch the news one day you feel like they figured it out, then the next day it's like, okay, maybe they haven't. So right now we are living in the times where when we don't know, sometimes it's best to just kind of pause
Mm.
when you don't know. And that can be not just regarding just church choirs or that gathering, but just in anything. It could be in relationships.
Right.
Sometimes we leave things because we don't understand them in that moment. And it doesn't mean that this is for the decisions that we make should be based on a forever ending outcome. Sometimes it's like, wait a minute, let's just put a pin in this and let's just hold up for a second until we can grasp it and understand it and know how to move. But when we move, we have to move in safe environments.
Mm.
You understand? Until the environments are deemed safe or till we understand it, let's just pause it for a second and let's talk about it. But it doesn't mean that we will forever be here. But I think right now, for these times, it's just a temporary break into what we would normally be doing. So that's how the conversation came about, because talking about choirs and standing next to each other, and you got 50 people, yelling and screaming and sweating and spitting and all of that kind of stuff. We don't we don't really know.
Yeah.
But I think, but we do know one thing for sure, that God is in control, right? If we don't know anything else, we know anything that's happening, we know God's hand is in it. He's allowing it. His hand is on our lives, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But for right now, we just temporarily, we can't get in our churches, we can't get in our buildings, we can't get in our houses, our places of worship. But we will get back to that, and it may look a little different. It may, the formats might be, the seating might be arranged a little bit differently. But for right now, it is the time to reassess, reevaluate, and also says, you know what? Let's pause and let's think about the way we've been doing things all of these years. You know what I'm saying? How much of it is necessary? How much of it wasn't necessary? You know what I'm saying? We got to think about all that and reevaluate, because perhaps things will be better when we come out. Maybe we all, like for instance, here you are on your own show. You know what I'm saying? And the more you do it, the better you become at it, right?
Right.
So when all this is over, you will be able to say, you know what? I started something. I've learned from it. I'm continuing to grow in it, and the outcome is better because now you got all of this time in this pause, right, to be creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To learn technology and to use technology better, because you can reach more people at the click of a mouse than you could if you had a conference in your church.
Very true.
If we use this time wisely. So it's just a temporary stop, just to linger in a short period of time, and we're going to get back to what we do. But we will understand things a lot better. We will appreciate things a lot better, and we're just gonna do everything at a higher level. As far as in my humble opinion, I think the pause is good because it's gonna allow us to wean out also a lot of things that were no longer that we deem necessary at a time. That when you really reevaluate it, it's really not. So I don't want to talk too long.
No.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal. I'm so glad you said that. First of all, you're absolutely right. I don't know anyone that could have ever thought that this would actually happen. Like literally, our church doors are closed. Some of us are not working. School was closed at one point. Like everything literally shut down. It just stopped. And it caused us, like you're saying, to have to reevaluate. And I know as the musical director at Allen, you guys are so innovative. You had your Sunday Night Live where you had the concert, the virtual concert, and it almost allows, like you said, it allows people to really, really reevaluate and see things on a new level. Because, like you said, and even I've noticed, some of these services and people that are watching these services, we may not have been able to even reach if it wasn't for this social media and digital platform, like you said. So it has been such a tremendous blessing. My question to you is, because you all are so innovative, some of us are in situations like myself. I'm not a pastor. I am an evangelist in the church. And then God gave me this idea in reference to Mornings with Marie. Moving forward, like I was so inspired by what you said, because I got from it that just because it's a pause doesn't necessarily mean that you don't keep thinking and you don't keep progressing and you don't keep reaching, to higher heights and deeper depths, as they may say, to see what else you can do while waiting, because pausing is really, really difficult. First of all, When I grew up in church, I didn't even think it was okay to pause. We didn't have a break. Like, we just were going and going and going and going. And now that God has, this situation has happened, and we are all of us are allowed to stop and have had to stop. What kind of information or what advice would you give to someone who is like the rest of us in the middle of this pause, but may want to do other things in reference to their churches, in reference to their choirs, their music departments, just in reference to themselves on another platform digitally?
Well, everybody rides. I ride motorcycles a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one term that we use in the motorcycle community is ride your own ride, right? You have to look at what it is you're able to do and do that at the highest level, and not really base where you are on what the next church or the next organization is doing, because everybody does not have the same capacity. But it does not mean that you can't start somewhere. Like right now, look at yourself. Who's to say that next year you won't be in a television studio? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Doing your broadcasts and your events, but you have to start somewhere, and it starts with content. You just have to have something that will inspire and help others. When it just can't be a self-serving thing. When it reaches other people and it touches other lives and it touches other hearts, it begins to expand and grow, and it becomes what we call shareable content. You understand? So, and as far as churches and other organizations are concerned, I say seek out those creatives that are sitting in your audience, because this pandemic and this pause has caused some of these young kids to become great editors, producers. I mean, kids are learning Pro Tools and Logic, and right now it's time to reach out to that generation and to those young minds who are really creative, who can see beyond what we've been doing,
Right.
and kind of what it says. He calls the old because they know the way, and the young because they're strong, right? You know what I'm saying? So when you take the older population with this younger population and we merge that together, you know what I'm saying? You get wisdom and you get insight, you get the capability and the ability to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do in and of yourself. So right now, it becomes a team effort. So we all have to reach out to everyone who may not do it the way we do it, or may say, you know what? I think you might need lighting. Well, we've been doing lightings like this for 10 years. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it is, because we're doing streaming now. You know what I mean? Or we might have to upgrade the audio board or something like that. The sound system, or so little things we have to now be open to, because if we don't reach out and embrace technology, it's going to be like trying to go find Blockbuster and trying to go rent a VHS.
Yeah.
In these times when we have Netflix,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we have to embrace the future. We have to embrace the day we live in, because if we don't, we're going to be left out. And the church should always be in the forefront of what's next, because we breed geniuses, not just singers. We always say, the best singers come from the church. No, but the best engineers too. You know what I'm saying? The best musicians, people who understand technology are sitting amongst us in our congregations. And now we need to reach out for those as well.
And it's accessible. I don't want people to think, because even myself, I'm a single mom, and right from my home, you set it up, you create your aesthetic, and you just kind of go for it. As long as you have an iPhone or some type of iPad or something, you can do anything. And you can create. You literally can create. And I love how you just said that. Well, ride your own ride is phenomenal, because you can't compare yourself to others, because if you do and you try to, I can't necessarily do what Alan does. I gotta ride my own ride and be great where
Yes.
Lenore is great. And then there's accessibility of people in your ministry, and that's so profound because there's people sometimes sitting right next to you with talents and abilities and giftings, and you don't even know until opportunities like this presents itself, and then you can call on that person, which is phenomenal, and it kind of lends to a new avenue or a new way of church, which is what I'm noticing is really like a literal new avenue and a new way of church. We're singing, we're ministering. You don't have the hand claps like you used to, and the amens and the hallelujahs. So you need that digital platform. You need those people that, like you were saying, especially the young ones. Like I have a young lady who right now is in her senior year at Howard University who has been helping me, thank God, with my show, the things that I don't know, technology that I don't know how to cut and paste certain things and put this together, some of the production side of my show. She's been so amazing in reference to helping me. So you're absolutely right. I pray that everyone that is listening is really taking heed and understanding that it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it. Because like I said, things are literally accessible to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like it's like right there. You don't have to have the $1 million production now at this point. I mean, you want to grow to that point, but right now you can start despise not the days of small things. You want to take what God has given you now and the opportunities that he's given you now and apply it to it. That's absolutely amazing. And then when we cuz I'm going to include Lindsay Williams. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to the both of you.
So when Elder Lindsay, you have a Bible study, and we talked about the pause. We have Bible studies on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Just a little plug to everybody. You talked about the pause, and when Stanley Brown came on and talked about it, first of all, like I said, when I heard him talking about it at Zion, I was so inspired because um, of who he is, what he's done, what he's created, industry wise, music industry wise, and just in general. And for him to say and to acknowledge that, yes, we're in a pause, and yes, it's okay to be in a pause was amazing to me. And then when you applied the biblical principles of being in a waiting moment or in a waiting situation or in a pause, it was absolutely phenomenal to me. So, can you just give us some biblical insight, as well as Stanley, if you guys just chime right on in whenever you're ready, to give some biblical
Okay.
insight in reference to the pause?
Well, forgive me, I'm driving. I did have an unforeseen event this morning with my daughter. But one of the things that Stanley also said was just because we're in a pause and just because we're standing still does not mean we're stuck.
Mm.
That is that was a huge, vital point to this biblical reference. We talked about the children of Israel, God leaded them. And we got to realize that God led them to the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army was behind them. Of course, there's a whole lot of details that we're leaving out right now, but the gist of it, God leads them to the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army is behind them. They had nowhere to go, and that was their pandemic. Sometimes God will put you in a place where you can't do nothing physically yourself for a reason, so that He can get the glory. And just because they were at the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army was coming did not mean that they was necessarily stuck. It did mean that they had to rely on God, and instead of complaining, God really wants us to pray and prepare because He's doing something, and something's about to happen soon. And then God tells Moses, "Why do you cry out to me? There's a rod in your hand. Stretch forth the rod and divide the sea."
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us are complaining and waiting on God to do something, but He's already really given us the tool to get what we really need already. Sometimes we don't understand what God has given us already.
Mm.
It wasn't the rod so much that performed the miracle. But I believe that God uses what He gives us to connect us to the miracle. It wasn't the rod, it wasn't the power of the rod or the power of Moses, but God said, "I'm gonna give you something, and every time I do something, I'm gonna let you use this thing that I give you so that you can connect to it." And it's just like what Stanley was saying. It's so many people that are around us in our congregation that never would have got the opportunity to be on the soundboard or to mix or to be an editor. And they're right there. And they've been right there all this time. And now we're in a position where we have to use what we got. And little did we know what we got was just as powerful or more powerful than what we was doing before. And I just believe that this is the time to prepare. We also talked about uh, we Stanley has said that somebody has, I believe Bishop White has said, if you're a singer, if you're a musician, if you're a preacher, whatever you are in this time, your craft ought to be developing. It's like he said, even with your show, everything is developing. And by the time we come out of this, nobody should be in the same spot. If not, you missed it. you know.
And
Absolutely.
okay, good.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
that that's phenomenal to say that even though you're in a pause, because I don't want people to get it twisted. Pause does not mean, like you said, we're not stuck. You're not stuck. And I wanted to talk about this for my summer season finale because we're moving into a pivotal season right now. Kids are going back to school, possibly in your city, town, state. You may be going back to work. Things are kind of people are coming back into the sanctuary little bit by little bit, and now it's time for you to work what you thought about, what you applied in your ministry now, right now. Like you, when we were pausing, as we were pausing, when you were sitting, like you said, as you were sitting in your homes when it was really bad, especially here in New York, and we couldn't even move, we couldn't even go anywhere, pretty much. Um, we should have been working on
Right.
our crafts and our gifts. And we shouldn't have just been sitting at home, just not doing anything and watching television. We should have been really,
Right.
really working on our crafts, looking at different things, searching things, looking things up on Google or whatever we needed to do to find out where to go and how to even maneuver. And when we come out of this, because it won't be forever while we're in it, but when we come out, that's why the pause is so important. Because when you come out, like Elder Lindsay was saying, then you are renewed, regenerated, you've got new ideas, things are progressing. You'll see the balance between the two, especially because we keep talking about this virtual thing. You'll see the balance between the two. I also wanted to thank you, Elder Lindsay. I also wanted to cut back to Stanley. You guys talked about, and I'm talking about at Zion, in reference to cutting things, and I think this is so important, especially for my audience. Cutting things off. I'm using that term, cutting things off, but you talked about staffing and how they had the government assisted some programs and some funding in reference to being able to pay people while they were at home. And then I heard you guys jokingly were mentioning, some people you had to kind of let go of for whatever reason. But I think it's just really important if you can discuss for a little while, and I'm kind of segueing, um, cutting things off during the pause to make yourself better or to move forward, things that are not necessary. Do you believe that it's important to cut certain things off while you're in this pause?
Yeah, I do. I think it's for me. Sometimes we're busy for the sake of being busy. And for me, Marie, I'm always running. I'm always running, and I'm running around doing something, trying to be Superman and save the day all the time. But now I'm actually uh, cutting a lot of those things away because I'm doing other things like maybe it's just taking a walk.
Mm.
Maybe it's just going to the park and smelling the flowers while I can smell them. To self evaluate um, what's good and what's not so good. pertaining my own personal life. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So reevaluating things that I need to do, because sometimes we just take the days and the time for granted. Because when you look at since March and since this pandemic, how many friends and loved ones we've lost. So now I'm more in tune to, if I'm thinking about someone, I send them a text or I pick up the phone and I call them in that moment, because you don't know if we're going to miss the moment, So putting life in perspective and cutting away things that don't really mean as much to me anymore, and self-evaluating and just having a greater appreciation for the things around me, because we don't even appreciate the things around us. That couch you sitting on, somebody somewhere don't have a couch.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? So I am grateful for every single thing. I'm grateful for every 50-cent bag of potato chips I can eat. You know what I mean? Because someone doesn't have that luxury.
Yes, sir.
So for me, it's just doing away with the mentality. Doing away with a thought process, eliminating those things, negative thoughts and negative energy, and not celebrating those that I care about more. So when it comes to me, my cutting things off or doing away with sometimes has to do with my thought process and things inside me internally that I needed to reevaluate and make adjustments.
Yeah, because I don't want to get it twisted. When I said cutting off, because we live in a day where everybody thinks everybody hates each other, and it's just about people hating on people and that whole kind of thing. I was just talking, and I'm so glad you went that way. I was talking in general, period, because you're absolutely right. We don't, and this pandemic, and God bless New York, because we have been slammed. I mean, it's been slammed across the country. We have lost some amazing people. But here in New York, it has been heart wrenching. Like it has been, it's really been rough. And when you do reflect and you become grateful and understand that certain things you don't necessarily need, and not only do you not need them, but you need to pick up some other things, like you said, like taking a walk. Taking time to take a moment by yourself, thinking, just relaxing, whatever it may be. So I think that you're absolutely right, and I'm glad that you segued into that, because I didn't want people to think that it's all about, oh, they can't stay, I'm cutting off her, I'm cutting off him. You really, really need to, when you grow up in God, and not only in God, but mature within yourself, you realize that it surpasses and it's beyond. It's absolutely beyond. It's beyond the people. It goes beyond the people, and it goes to you reflecting on yourself and realizing, man, not only that, just health wise, mentally, maybe I need to sit down, maybe I need to speak to a therapist, maybe I need to speak to my children more. It's allowed us to have more family time, it's allowed us to bond together. So reading your word, communicating with God the more, like it just overall, that's why I'm so glad you said what you said. Overall in life, just taking a moment and saying, reflecting, I'm really, really grateful for the grace and the mercy that God has placed on my life, and for the things that I do have. Because the things that I do have, like you said, others haven't. Some people know my testimony, and I'm not sure if you've heard it, but like a couple of years ago, I was homeless. Like I literally had nowhere to go. I had nothing, and to see where God has brought me to, I am so super grateful. So you're absolutely right. Reflecting in reference to that during this pause, like I would have never thought, Stanley, I would have never thought in a million years that I would be sitting doing this, speaking to you, having Lindsay on. Like this is phenomenal, and I just want everybody, all the viewers, to be encouraged and understand that it's about building you up, building yourself up. this pause, and this is what I got, and these are 3 points, and you guys can reiterate. I know I'm not sure if Elder Lindsay had to step away for a second, um, but this is what the pause looked like for me. I had to rest in 3 steps. I had to rest, which was definitely in the beginning, April, May, where nothing was happening, and just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Pray, reevaluate my life, reevaluate what's happening, as well as being cautious of all the other things that are going on around me because I'm an essential worker. So I had to consistently work while, nerves, anxiety, fear, everything kind of set in because of what was going on around me. But I also had to take a moment to kind of just rest and stand still. And then I assessed, like you were saying, assess to what was going on around me. What can I do? God, lead me and guide me. Where can I make Lenore better? How can I make Lenore better? And in the same time, making Lenore better gave me the avenue to help in reference to my church on a different level, in reference to media team, in reference to the music ministry. It like overall, and that's how you know you're doing it right or the pause is working for you. If it works and it's effective all the way around your life, like full circle,
Right.
then you know that it's working effectively for you. And then from there, even within the pause, for me to take action, move accordingly to what I've talked about, what I've thought about, take action on what God says. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm listening.
okay. Elder Lindsay, have you joined us back yet? Elder Lindsay, can you hear us? Okay, so we'll wait for him. But yeah, that's what my pause looked like. My pause looked like rest, assess, and take action. Now, for some of you, have lost pastors, they've lost family members, children, parents. It's been really rough. So the pause for some, and I know you all, on the platform with Bishop White, kind of discussed losing some really, really important people, especially here in New York. We're gonna close in a little bit because I don't want to take too much of your time up because I could talk to you all forever. But what has that, or what kind of, if you can, any encouragement to anyone who's trying to work through the pause in reference to loss, losing loved ones, or losing pastors, or anything, any encouraging words that you can kind of give?
Well, for me personally, I understand death is inevitable. People will leave here eventually. But what's disheartening or hurtful at times is when we're losing people and we're not able to celebrate the homegoing services in the fashion that we would like to or would love to, because the COVID restrictions and we're not able to attend services and pack out buildings and celebrate those who we love. So for me, there have been a lot of funerals, or I've lost a lot of people whose services I was not able to attend. And for me, that was the disconnect, because it was like not being able to bring closure or to say goodbye, because I would find myself, one or two friends picking up a phone, calling them, and not remembering, oh my God, they're no
Right.
longer here.
Right.
Because we haven't had that visual closure in regards to attending a service, seeing, watching, looking at a body in a casket or what have you. That helps us to process it a little bit as well. So for me, we know we're gonna lose people. We know, it's just part of life. But it just hurts when you're not able to say goodbye. The way we normally say goodbye to people and our loved ones. So it's really been difficult. Just losing people who are, who love you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And those that you would normally pick up a phone and say, "Hey, man, I need to talk," and you can be 100% transparent with that individual.
Right.
So for me, it's like losing a support support system
Mm.
that I've had all my life. Buddies that I can call and dialogue with. So yeah, it's been challenging.
Yeah, I have a few friends that are on now who are watching and they've lost, you know, parents. And I can't even, thank God, God's been very gracious to me. But I can't even imagine losing close friends, like you said, and not being able to call, hear from them for their support or just to laugh. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And especially in these times when it kind of gives you an opportunity to reflect and remember or to just kind of joke about remember when we used to at the concert or
Mm-hmm.
remember when we did this or do that. Sometimes with Divine Connection members, I'll call some of them and we'll kind of laugh just to make things a little easier. You know what I mean? And now, unfortunately, the time has we have lost some people and it's been really difficult, like you said. So I just wanted to kind of encourage some of the viewers that even in this pause, dealing with grieving and the situation of losing loved ones and friends, to be encouraged that
Yes.
God is able. And at our church, we are taught that God is sovereign. Thank you, Elder Lindsay Williams. Can you hear us?
I'm sorry. I had a little issue getting in the house, bro. I'm sorry.
It's
I ain't
okay.
missing this. I couldn't hear. I'm back on. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We were talking about, I was asking Stanley to reflect in reference to those that are in the pause and dealing with losing loved ones and family members and friends. Just in reference to encouragement, because we have some people that are on, and I was asking him what it looked like for him, and he was just letting us know how it's been difficult at times, and because we're not able to like do our normality, which is to celebrate and do what you would call regular memorials or homegoings. Can you give words of encouragement in reference to that?
Yes, I believe that this is a strange time. People are dying. We're not able to do the whole thing that we usually do. But in every change, there is something strange. Um,
Mm,
there's something new. It's strange, but there's a change coming. Um, and we have to realize that during this time, although we're losing people, we're gaining something else.
mm,
With that generation with those people that are leaving, something else is gaining, and we must prepare for the next. There's a story in, I believe, Second Kings 3, if I'm not mistaken, where three kings, King Jehoram, King Jehoshaphat, and the King of Edom, was on their way to fight King Mesha. And again, God took them through the wilderness. They get most of the time to fight, and they ran out of water. And the Lord says, dig valleys,
mm,
dig these valleys. And so, in other words, he said there won't be no warning, there won't be no sign, dig, because when this water comes, you ain't gonna have nowhere for this water. You need this water you haven't had in 7 days. Dig, and I'm saying it. My reference to that is because right now we need to be digging, and we need to like prepare for the next. Although we're losing people, and we're losing so many people, it's almost hard to grieve, and it's almost hard to even keep count. I was talking to Stanley the other day. I know y'all was talking. I kind of missed some of it. Y'all were talking about, what do you cut off in this period and you do something different. And he was saying it's just good to just take a walk. It's good to just just love on those. I was hanging with Stanley the other day, and we did something we never did before. It wasn't music, it wasn't mixing, it wasn't studio. We played baseball,
yes.
and we had a great time. We played basketball.
Nice.
And then, we sat out on the deck and just enjoyed the trees and the grass. And honestly, stuff like that, it's, even though we're musical, even though we're ministers, even though we're singing this and that, sometimes we need life.
Like,
Doing too much of what you've been called to do. I am not even though I play the organ, I am not an organ. I am a person. Even though I may be a preacher, I'm not a Bible walking around in a robe. I am a person person. And sometimes what I learned from that the other day is we just, we talked about music a little bit, don't get me wrong, but our activities weren't music that day. And sometimes you have to break away from what you already do to exercise. I mean, some of us are out of shape. Some of us can't stretch and touch our toes, can't, and, we're talking about people dying. Some people are dying. They really don't have to. There's a lot of generation people dying that just not take care of, going to church, rehearsals and eating late, and stuff like that. And going to bed late and sleeping late and eating much and all that, it takes a toll. So, I mean, maybe this pandemic, we need to change some of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate your candidness in reference to having fun. That's what I heard. You all were not just talking business. You took a moment to kind of take a breather and have fun. And that's okay. Sometimes we're so heavenly minded, we don't know no earthly good. And God has given us people. This is just what I believe. God has given us people. God has given us nature. God has given us beautiful places to travel for a reason, for us to be able to enjoy them. And sometimes we're so busy working what we call ministry or doing what we call God's work that we forget that it's okay to take a break and to take a rest and just have fun. Play baseball, start up a little, softball league or a football or volleyball or whatever you like to do, go swimming, take time, especially those that are of us that are in ministry. Like Janae said in the comments, self-care. Self-care is so important. And that's pretty much what I heard you just say. I had fun with my friend, and that's okay. Yes. Elder or not, you put that title because when you go home, especially during this pause, which I do appreciate, I have to be honest, the title thing didn't even matter anymore. We were all out of our churches. When I went home, I went to work. When I go to work, I'm not Evangelist Bivens. I'm Lenore. And when I go home, Jordan, my son, doesn't call me, hey, Evangelist. He calls me Mommy. and I am Lenore. The bill collector calls, they call for Lenore. They don't call for Evangelist Bivens. And so I'm really, really grateful for that honesty that it's okay, title or not, position or not, executive or not, you need to take time and take moments to have self-care. So I'm so grateful for the conversations that we've had so far. You two gentlemen are the first gentlemen that I've had on my show, and I'm so grateful. I don't want to take up any more of your time, and we are going to close with this final thing. And I want both of you to say what you need to say, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Either one of you can start. But we talked about the pause. We talked about what to do in the pause. We talked about how you should have self-care, dealing with grieving. We talked about digging, like Elder Williams was talking about, the children of Israel at the Red Sea. What about now? This moment, I feel like we're in a moment, if we can relate it to the children of Israel, where we're walking through the Red Sea. Like he parted it and they were walking on dry land. And if I could be candid for a moment, I can only imagine walking through, seeing water on each side and just rushing and trying to get to the other side, but having to be patient because it was so many of them, and just, I'm sure, praying and being nervous and concerned and just, God, please just get us through so that we can make it to what now we would call 2021 or 2022, whenever God is going to lift this thing. Closing words on what's next and maybe how or what we should move into, or possibly encourage us with some things that you're looking to do when this thing either clears up or in the months to come for holidays, and just, closing words, just period. Whichever one of you want to go first.
Elder, you go.
Go ahead, Elder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say this. because we don't know what's next, the best thing to do is prepare for what you feel you need. To put it in a sequence, we, like Stanley said, we was doing so much we didn't need to do. So many things will happen that was so unnecessary, and then God stopped it. I mean, no, not to be funny, but we had a conversation one time, and Stanley said there's a lot of people that walk in church buildings and they get called to the front, and this is their lives, and you know, likes and comments. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that. But when you walk in the middle of Wall Street, nothing stops. And sometimes we have to realize that this little small thing that we have, I guess, idolized with certain things, we have to realize that God is calling us to the more. There's a season for everything. The season for whatever it was is up. And then, like you said, there's a season of pause, there's a season of preparation, and then there's a season God said, divide this Red Sea, go across. It's time to move. They moved across into, they didn't know it was on the other side. They moved across. It was strange, but it was a change. But we do know that something was coming. But whatever's coming, like I said also before, you must prepare. A baseball team can't line everybody up in the right field. You got to be in position. And in order to win, we got to get in position. If you don't drive and you want God to bless you with a car and you don't have a license, it doesn't make sense. You don't have a license, it's time to prepare for a license. You don't have a house, it's time to save your money for mortgages. Your credit is messed up. This is the time to build it. So as we're crossing in, although we may not know exactly what the next is, whatever you claim your next to be, you should be preparing for that. And I just believe that this is our time. You hit the pause button. By the time you hit that play button, it ain't like it's a stop. You hit the play button, you ready for the next part of the song or whatever. I mean, those who remember cassette tapes and VHS tapes, you know, you didn't hit pause. You hit pause to go to the bathroom. You didn't hit pause to go to church. You hit pause because you was coming right back. So what's long to us may be very short to God. And Stanley will wrap this up a little bit better than me, but I will say we definitely need to be preparing for the next. This is really like a boxer getting that minute in the corner. I mean, you done been beat up. You get to that corner, they spray that water on your face. They trying to get in your mouth. I see the boxers sometimes, they open their mouth and the people just spray it all in their eyes. You know, this is that time of refreshing. They put the Vaseline on. This is our time in our corner, y'all. When we come back out of this, we ought to be fighting and we ought to be prepared for the next. So, I mean, that's all I really have. Stanley, you can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think when you talk about going through is better than being stuck, right? But the key for me is what will it look like for you when you get to the other side. For me, the goal is to become a better Stanley. And for all of us, if God has spared us and protected us and kept us to get to the other side, then we have to appreciate that by becoming better and serving people in our community better, and just making life better. Because he didn't have to provide. When you said earlier, you know, imagine the children of Israel walking through the water. I mean, the sea and water on both sides, and you're seeing something you've never seen before. Because I don't think anyone has seen water stand up on both sides and create a clear path for them to walk through.
Right.
So we're seeing something that's unusual. And even in this, we have to be able to identify the miracle or the miraculous works of God during this time. And when we get to the other side, it's important that we walk and we stay in purpose.
Wow.
That's important. That's all I have to add.
Walk and stay in purpose. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really, really appreciate it. You guys have been amazing this morning. And I pray that all of the viewers, all of you that are watching, please, please make sure that you say thank you in the comments. Thank you, Stanley Brown. Thank you, Elder Lindsay Williams. And don't forget to go to Greater Allen Cathedral's page and enjoy their Sunday morning service. St. John Bible Church and enjoy their Sunday morning service. I'm so excited. Divine Connection, great things are getting ready to happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. I appreciate it. Don't leave me yet, though. You guys don't leave me yet, because I'm going to cut to them. Listen, it has been an amazing morning. Got to walk and stay in your purpose. Stay there. Stay right there. Understand that God is not leaving you. He is not forsaking you. And I pray to God that you all have been blessed and you have been enlightened by the pause. I am so grateful again. We're going to close on this. I am so grateful again that you all have joined me all summer long. And we're not going to stop there. Trust me, we're not. My next show, we're moving to Saturdays because Mondays are difficult. I'm a mom. The interactive lessons and learning is the beginning. And I want to make sure that we all can be blessed. So we're moving to Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. We're going to come back at the end of September for our fall and midwinter season. So September 26th is when we're coming back. September 26th, 10 a.m. We want you to tell everybody we're coming back better. We're coming back stronger. We're coming back with new ideas. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Thank you again, Stanley Brown. Thank you again, Lindsay Williams. And thank you for tuning in this morning. And don't forget, like I always say, and I want you to keep this in your heart, love God, love others, and love yourself. Love always, Marie. Have an amazing day, guys. Be blessed.